What type of skater were you?
Oh, I'd like to believe that I was like, yeah, let's get fired up. When I was younger, on the Junior Grand Prix circuit and early in my senior career with Kate, I would oftentimes get fired up, and that would backfire on me. One, I'd get so tired for the event itself, and then on top of that, my partnering would just become super stiff. So I found that, similar to you, staying calm was like so crucial, and I really learned that I should not try to be a social butterfly, especially the morning of an event, just being super in my bubble. Kate knew that like we would talk very minimally, because that was something that I needed to just like really keep my energy reserved for me and for her. So it was like a really hard skill to hone, honestly, is keeping that calmness, because then you're like, when you're not talking, I found that I would be like, oh wow, there's like a lot of thoughts and there's like a lot of stories that I'm telling myself. And these aren't like bedtime stories, everybody. These are like stories of me not doing a good job on the ice. More nightmare stories. So I had to learn how to control those. So yeah, it was always an interesting kind of challenge, but near the end, like competing with Kate, I found that it was like way easier. And even now, like you said, to this day, it's like way more being like, oh, everyone's like, you're so quiet. And I'm like, oh yeah, I just like being a little bit more chill and quiet now, as opposed to being like, what's up to everybody. So yeah, that's like, other than right now, clearly I'm talking so much, but that's pretty much how this thing goes with everybody.
It's called locking in.
That's yeah, locking in.
That's what the kids are saying now.
Locking in. You know what's so funny? Actually, Caitlin and I used to have this little handshake, and then at the end of the handshake, I'd like look at her, and I'd pretend to put a little key in a lock and turn it, and she'd be like, "Oh, okay, he's locked in."
Yep.
Before the kids were saying locked in.
So really, they stole it from you.
Well, I mean, I can't say that, but I mean, you did say that. So when you liked your warm-up on the day of the competition, were you a costume or no costume?
I was a no costume. I only wore costume for the actual competition.
Okay. The ice dancers literally only ever wear costumes.
I know.
So it's
Very different.
pretty rough around this time of the year, because they're either cut up, ruined, or smelly. Even though we did wash them, don't worry, before people assume that I didn't.
That's pretty funny. I think it totally just depends on the skater with how comfortable they are in their costume. I think for a skater like me that needed to keep their adrenaline as low as possible before the actual event, even wearing the costume in practice would have been a little bit too stress-inducing for me. But there are a lot of skaters that need the opposite. They need to get the jitters out in their costumes beforehand. So it really is person to person.
So we have 33 skaters in this women's event, and we're gonna have 24, is that right, qualify for the long program? We're gonna take a look here. I believe so.
I believe so as well.
Yeah, we have 4 groups. I just want to double check there, because yesterday we had a little complication with Jackie and the ISU website, so we're going to be losing quite a few of these skaters after this short program. So you talked about staying calm and whatnot in the practice prior to the event. Would you then, oh wow, that was really cool. That would really hurt me if I tried that, but
Same.
that would not go well for me. You talked about staying calm. Is that something then, like when you had your music, were you doing more of like maybe a little bit of a technical run through, or more of like a performance run through? Like, what did you like to stay calm? Was it doing more of the technical elements, or going a little bit more into the skating?
For me, I always did my elements on the sessions, but individually, and only a couple times. I wouldn't overdo it. And then anytime my music was on, I was doing choreography run-throughs to feel comfortable showing the artistry, but without the stress adrenaline of having to hit the jumps. So that was kind of my strategy as a skater.
Okay.
So when you see skaters opt out of doing their elements when their music is on for these like official practices, it's usually because they're saving that adrenaline spike for the competition.
Okay. Look at this costume. Sick.
Julia is the Slovenian national champion.
Let's go.
She was 22nd at Europeans and 36th at Worlds last year. This program has Kanye West in it.
No way.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm ready. We're going to get fired up here in a second. Well, I like the music already. I'm gonna break this. Best case scenario is a super clean skate, but let's say there's two choices. You really go crazy on performance, but hoping to get more GOE on some of these elements, but maybe it's a little bit more risky for the technical side of things, or do you think getting more of a tamed, safer to skate is a better opportunity?
I think it really depends on certain skaters in terms of the technical ability that they have. For some of these first groups, I think the most important thing for them is probably going to be skating as clean of a program as possible.
not even winded. I mean, I know she missed a couple things, but nothing made me more nervous than the day of a competition. And we'd have like a program in the morning on that practice, and we'd miss obviously a couple elements, and then I'm gassed. And I'm like, oh my God, I have a couple more to add, and I'm competing in 2 hours. Like, what's going to happen?
Oh my goodness. It's always like that.
That fear of getting tired is probably one of the things which stops skaters the most.
Totally. And when you are under that adrenaline state, if you're not locked in, you are going to blow all of that energy immediately.
I was really good at that. I was really good at not doing a good job of controlling it.
Anastasiia is the Ukrainian national champion. She was 27th at Europeans and 34th at Worlds last year. She's 23 years old.
Ooh. Well, sitting next to me, Paulina, Queen of Twizzles. I mean, do you love it when you see freestylers starting to do some cool Twizzle stuff in their programs?
It gets me so excited.
You're so good at them. Like,
oh my God.
I remember we did like a little seminar together somewhere or a camp, and I remember you were doing some Twizzle exercises. I was like, dang, like you know what you're doing when it comes to Twizzles. You're stacked. Everything makes so much sense. I mean, I love to see some of that just like skating skill, ice dance, little influence here and there, and I think it's so cool to see that kind of crossing in different disciplines.
I love to twizzle, it's true. It is really fun as skating gets more broad in the sense of, you know, we went from a really strict spiral sequence back in the day to now having this more creative choreographic sequence to see what you can put in. And I think towards the ends of my career with that choreo sequence, I started playing around with long twizzles. And as I retired and started doing shows, that was just something that I felt like filled time well in my programs and was something that I liked to do that didn't stress me out the way jumps did. And all of a sudden, it's gotten to this point where I usually get more claps for a twizzle than a jump.
Yeah, it's like a staple.
Which is awesome.
It's because you do like 43 of them. You're like, I'm going to keep it going.
It just feels good. It's like that lock-in focus.
Yeah, when you're in it, you're just like, oh, we're going. We're cruising.
Exactly. But yeah, it does make me really pumped to see skaters get creative in ways like that on the ice. And if I see a long twizzle, I'm hollering.
That's it. I'm hollering.
Is the Lithuanian national champion, and she was 35th at Worlds last year. I believe she's 16, actually. Her birthday is on the like soon enough to be 17. Her birthday is in May, I believe. So she is our youngest competitor at Worlds.
Oh, wow.
The rule change that went into effect recently, you have to be 17.
Okay.
I think if you're within the like month or two though,
you're all good.
Yes.
Oh wow.
There's always a cutoff.
Yeah.
I remember because I was the month cutoff for the Olympics.
That's
so I was lucky I was born.
That's still such a crazy story to me that like we went to a junior Grand Prix together and then like 6 months later you're like, yo, I'm going to the games.
It was crazy for me too,
yeah. I can imagine. I can imagine. Junior Grand Prix, Mexico City.
Oh my God, that photo gives me so much life because so many of us became Olympians in that photo.
It's so cool. It was you, me, Nathan Chen with Caitlin, Mariia Bell. It Who else? Is that it? Is it Jason there? No.
No, but even from other countries.
Yes.
Nam Nguyen was there.
Yes.
So many more.
I mean,
it was a crazy event.
Yeah, I mean, that arena, also, like, just being at, like, 8,000 feet competing, I mean, if you can survive that, then you can survive almost a lot.
I would never compete at that altitude.
No.
I would decline.
My parents specifically went to it because they were worried that something might go wrong. Like, I would struggle to get through the program.
That's really funny.
My dad's like, I probably should be there in case you need to go, like, I don't know, see some medical afterwards or something. I was like, that's the reason you're going. Okay. I love you too.
They did have oxygen masks in the Kiss and Cry for us.
Yes.
And an ambulance parked outside. I don't think anyone used it, though.
No. It was in an arcade, too. Remember that?
Yes. There was a bowling alley next to it.
You could hear the bowling alley in your music.
Music time, 2 minutes, 51 seconds.
Lovely lyrical skating.
There are approximately 8 minutes remaining
I like it.
in this warm-up.
Do you remember your first Worlds?
Yeah, it was in Milan, actually, in 2018, right after the Olympics. It was super cool. Yeah, we were first alternates for it, and then the Shibatanis decided like a week and a half prior that they weren't going to go. So we were like, oh, okay, cool. Good thing we've been like training ish. The ish was like underscored. So we made it happen, and it was such an amazing experience. Where was your first Worlds?
Mine was in Saitama in Japan, and it was right after the Olympics in 2014.
That's crazy. You went to the Olympics before Worlds.
Yeah, I went to the Olympics and Worlds before I went to a champs camp.
It's for anyone that knows, that's actually nuts.
My first senior international competitions were Sochi and Saitama.
Sochi being the Olympics.
Yes.
Your first senior international was the Olympics.
Yes. I had never even gone to a junior Worlds.
That's like, you know what? Talk about getting thrown in the deep end. Like, you see these babies at like 3 months old learning how to swim. You know what I mean? They just throw them in the pool and they're like, they learn how to swim really quickly. That's like what happened to you, but you were really good at it.
It was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's sick. You're like, whoa, going to a junior Grand Prix. Wait, hold on. I'm going to the Olympics. We skipped a couple steps here.
It was incredible. But it is such a different level of feeling in competition. Obviously, I haven't been to a junior World, so I don't know how that completely compares to a senior Worlds, but I do remember stepping into the arena in Saitama and just feeling like this is the moment that we all dream of and work so hard for. And just the level of professionalism from everyone, as well as the crowd, as well as, the event coming together, all of the organizers. It is unreal. So I think it's so exciting for all these skaters to be here. And there are quite a few skaters. I think that these are their first world champions, world championships. And to be in a city like Boston for your first Worlds is so cool.
I mean, yeah, was that Super Saitama that you did it was like the big arena, like the...
It was huge, yeah.
Yeah, the massive one, yeah. And you, like, to get on the ice, you have to walk up the stairs. Yeah, okay, that was... I did that Worlds too, not the same year, but, and you see that staircase, and it's, okay, like, now everybody, this sounds like I'm not an athlete when I say this, but there's like 15 steps or 14 steps, but when you're nervous, the last thing you want to do is be like, I'm going to use my legs right now. At least that's what went through my mind.
No,
and
it's
Caitlin's
true.
like, you need to just chill out for a minute. I'm like, no, but like for real, I want to save my legs for 4 minutes. And she's like, if a staircase is going to be a problem for you, do you really think we should be going to go do a free dance right now? And I was like, you know what? Get on the ice. Let's go.
That's so funny.
I think I got roasted so fast. Then we went and competed. She's hilarious for that. But yeah, a Boston Worlds, like how amazing is that? We never got the opportunity to compete at a home Worlds, but I can imagine how amazing it would feel. I mean, the U.S. fans, all the fans, but particularly the U.S. fans are so loyal. I mean, going to U.S. championships, the Skate America, even 4 continents in the States, like any U.S. big event, you find that there's always these staple fans that are there. And it was so nice when we were competing, and I can imagine you felt the same of like seeing those people in the front row, like in those American jackets, like you know exactly what I'm talking about too.
Yes.
But they're always there. They're in the same seats, and it's just so nice to see familiar faces when it's terrifying out there.
It's true. And I mean, I think Boston in it of itself has such a rich skating history. So to be in a place as magical as this is really special. Special for me to be here, having Boston have been where I qualified for the Olympics. Because that was nationals in 2014.
That's right.
Worlds was in Boston 2016. I remember that being just electric. And in the crowd, anytime any skater from any country laid down a good performance, everyone was on their feet. And it was just amazing to watch the reception of people that were not only skating fans, but also just, you know, people in the city that wanted to come see what skating is all about.
I love it when the fans aren't afraid to get into the performance too. It's like,
Yeah.
for me, like when you go to a concert and there's the warm-up act and you're standing next to somebody you don't know and you're like, do I want to vibe with this or not? Because like you're afraid of the judgment of you like committing to being like, wow, I love it. But like by the one, like the actual person you're gonna go see, people usually don't care anymore and they're so into it. And the reason I'm saying this is because like there's some skaters early on in the event which do deserve standing ovations, that do deserve people to get rowdy. And I think that the rowdier the fans can get, honestly, I think it's going to make it more exciting for not just the fans, but also the skaters themselves. And we're fueled so much off of what we hear as well. I mean, please make it positive by all means, but yeah, don't be like, yeah.
No heckling.
No, exactly. But really, I think that just really getting into the performances, if people have music that you can clap along to and whatnot, like don't be afraid to do it if you feel it.
Definitely. And these skaters work so hard for this 1 2-minute or 4-minute performance, and they're putting everything that they are on the line, and so support really goes a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. Isn't it crazy, like, when you, like, reflect back on your career and whatnot and thinking that, yeah, I used to train 3-4 hours a day, 5-6 days a week for 2 minutes?
I know.
Like, you're
That's
like,
what I get mad when I watch other sports sometimes, too, and I think, like, man, we only have that 4-minute program on the ice that, like, marks everything that we are for the amount of hours that we do.
the return of investment can be so bad if you don't do it well.
Yeah.
If you're not, as you say, locked in.
That's the theme for today.
Locking in.
For the week, really.
That's right. For anyone watching, if you guys have any questions for Paulina and I, please send them to @US Figure Skating, @Jean-Luc Baker, @Paulina Edmonds, on Twitter, on X. We're going to do our best throughout this morning just to be answering them. Please don't be afraid to ask things. Yeah. That looks like a big step up for those skaters to get on the ice.
Would that step make you nervous?
For me? Yeah, I'd need a dang trampoline. Are you kidding me? Get out of here. I was actually talking yesterday with Jackie Wong about the boards, the LED boards in the main rink, and they look so cool, but they look a little higher than the actual boards themselves. And I asked Jackie, I was like, would I be able to see over them if I was on the ice? And he's like, yeah, absolutely, with the lifts and the skates that you have.
They're like little heels.
That's little. I don't know about that, but they're heels. So warm-up group 1 is now finished. We are on the second warm-up group now. I was also a huge fan of music on the warm-ups in terms of like the music that was being played. Didn't really dictate on how my warm-up was going to go, but it definitely, if it was songs that I knew, like this one, I would probably try to sing along a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, exactly, right? It's crazy how you like just attach quickly onto little things like that. And if it was songs that I didn't know, more times than not, I would talk to the audience as I'd skate by. And Caitlin's like, what are you doing? I'd ask people what they're eating or like, seriously, straight up.
Okay,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
same.
No, not same, yeah. There was a fan watching a practice. I remember, I think we were in Finland for the Grand Prix once, and I was like, what are you knitting? Because she was knitting. It was like 7 a.m. and she was making socks. And by the end of the free dance later that day, someone threw socks onto the ice, and they wrote a note saying, like, I'm the fan that was knitting socks. So she made me a pair of socks, I guess, during the event or that morning. It was hilarious.
That's really sweet.
It was so nice.
Okay, so there are perks then, I guess. to
Yeah,
talking to the
absolutely.
audience.
Like someone was eating Doritos once, some cool ranch ones. Don't worry why I remember that. But yeah, and by the end of the event, someone threw on Cool Ranch Doritos for me. So like I wish I would have asked what they were wearing. Maybe I would have got some cool clothes out of it. But I got food. Do love food.
That's amazing. I remember skating around. It was some nationals, I think, when I was a little bit older, and I heard the song Shut Up and Dance With Me.
Nice.
And I had so many memories with my friends dancing to that song in random places as a joke. And so when I was skating around, I was just giggling. And it was really nice because it was a little ease of the nerves because all of a sudden my mind was switching to those memories. Not in a distracting way.
No,
but just like it was a cool moment for sure.
It's so helpful to like anchor you into the moment when you aren't allowing yourself to overthink. And that was something that honestly like I really leaned into is like trying to be I couldn't try to be funny, like you can't try to be funny, but I think I was really into when I was nervous, really just like enjoying the moment and like having a good time because we work so hard for these things that you can really psych yourself out or be living upstairs in your brain too much. And I was always trying to joke around and play with Kate because like that's when we really were like, oh wow, like that was so fun. You could really remember those practices. I loved doing practices for just like that effortlessness and ease of just like enjoying life and skating.
Exactly. Is that one of your favorite fan stories? Is the knitted socks? Do you have any other? Do you have any other?
Oh my gosh, do I have other ones? I have so many amazing ones. Like, yeah, it's definitely up there. Like I had a fan in Japan once because I used to like make terrible faces in photos. Like videos, you could never really see, but for some reason, whenever I would have photos taken, the faces that I would make were just rough. Caitlin looked stunning every time, and then I was in the back, like, breathing obnoxiously. So someone blew up my face on a T-shirt and gave it to me, which was hilarious because it just said Jean-Luc Baker, and my face, like, doing a disco program, like, pointing of my finger with my hair flying. I still have it to this day and wear it randomly, just for the bit. I
think you know where you should wear it. At a certain music festival.
Oh, actually, it's a great idea. Yeah, just for anyone knows that I'm going to Coachella in a couple weeks, and Paulina will also be there, and that's why she brought that up. So maybe that's exactly how I. You know what? I think you just hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
It might have to be my day 2 outfit.
It's gonna be great. I think my favorite fan story is when I was 16 or 17, I had gotten I think I competed at NHK Trophy, and a Japanese fan had thrown me like a teddy bear with a necklace tied to it. And it was this beautiful little 4-leaf clover necklace, and I wore it all season after. I was so excited about it. And then I went to Worlds later that year, and she was in the lobby. I didn't know who she was. She had just come up to me with tears in her eyes, and she saw the necklace, and she was like, "I gave you that."
Oh my!
And I like had touched it, and I like looked at her, gave her a hug. I was like, "Thank you. I've been wearing it all season."
Oh Oh my god.
It's probably my favorite story.
That's beautiful. Very different than my cool ranch.
Triplets from Linnea CEDER. She was second at Finland Nationals and 15th at Europeans this year.
I love reading about the skaters' hobbies. Hers is golf. Yeah, right? Sometimes you see some crazy stuff.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's not crazy, but I love it. A quick little insight on where the skaters are at and what they like to do with their free time with the little bit they actually have. Straight out of the gate, though, like, I love the space holding that she does within her skating, like making sure she takes moments for herself and for the audience to enjoy what she's doing.
I think whenever you see a skater pause for a moment, whether it's like a stretch or holding an edge, it really creates such presence on the ice.
It's crazy.
And I feel like you can really tell that with the seniors, especially when you're watching like different levels. Most seniors tend to kind of like get that.
Yes.
And I mean, that's just development of the sport in general. But yeah, it's beautiful to watch, especially as the groups go on.
I think the power of an intentional pause is so overlooked.
Especially if it's timed to music well.
Oh, I mean, it has to be. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. But yeah, I mean, that's something that I loved so much about skating and like our skating is that we really like to take moments, not just for ourselves to breathe, but to like give our audience members a moment to breathe within the performance itself. And I think that when you give that, like, they're more open to joining you in the world that you create, and like automatically you're wanting to like lean into what you're doing, like watching, and I think that's how you're going to create moments.
Exactly. From Xiangyi. She is a beautiful skater, has great lines. She was 5th at Chinese Nationals this year, 10th at Cup of China, and 13th at World. She's 18 years old.
Love spinning?
I wouldn't say I love spinning, but I was good at spinning.
You were very good at spinning.
Thank you. My mom was a spin coach, so I had to be.
Okay, fair enough.
I did like getting into the zone spinning though.
It's so hard. It's so energy consuming.
It really is. You have to just like tense all of your muscles for so long.
Yes.
And then your legs are so sore once you get out of them, especially if you're in a sit.
It's crazy. Like, I think it's so overlooked.
Yeah, I think you really notice skaters that there's different ways that spins can be striking, whether it's speed, whether it's holding one particular position for a really long time, or if their spin transitions are just all elegant and beautiful. It's all artistry at the end of the day as well, depending on how they use it.
Oh, that spin's very far away in the corner.
I was gonna say.
Interesting choice on the composition over there. I know sometimes it's hard to fit everything into the music, but it's so important to like make sure things are placed well. For me, that's far too far in the corner. Like I would
agree.
I wish that like you finished a little bit more like blue line left side, if that were the case, less in the Zam corner.
Yeah, I think especially for not only the judges but the audience watching, having things start and finish more centered,
yeah,
creates. Austin skates to music from Oppenheimer.
Oh, cool. I straight out of the gate just noticed like the use of her arms and her hands. It's so beautiful.
Going with the violin.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
yeah.
really well done.
They're just so soft. Like it's like they're going through water. Like there's a very clear A to B and how you're getting from one arm movement to the other, not just I was told to do this arm in front. It's like that quality. It's it's a very honed skill.
Austin was 5th at Korean Nationals, 5th at her Grand Prix in Finlandia this season, and 9th at Four Continents. Triple flip, triple toe, mid-program.
Something that I've been talking about is with the pairs yesterday is like I find it so interesting on the in-betweens when teams or skaters do their run-throughs on these practices, how they just like completely drop the energy and then try to pick it back up. And obviously being an ice dancer, we never really let that happen. We try to stay in our moment. But I think that I think for me, I struggle a little bit when I watch that because you lose the pull that I have. Now I know it's just a practice, but when you're in it the whole time, you're like rehearsing and you're training your body and your mind to stay focused. When you take those breaks, and maybe this is just from my own personal experience and I don't know what it's like for when you were skating, but when you completely shut off right after you stop, I find that it's harder to get back into it very quickly for when you start. But that's just, again, my own, maybe it took me a while to like lock. Once I'm locked in, I'm like, I want to stay locked in versus like unlock, lock, unlock, lock. Like,
That's fair. I do think it's interesting because with dance, like from the start that you even step on the ice, you guys, your name is called, so you guys are already kind of acting in character according to the program. But for pretty much every other discipline,
everyone
we
else.
don't do that. We wait until the music starts, and once the music stops, that effect is over.
That's fair.
So I guess that would be why it's like easier for us to kind of take those in-between breaks.
That's fair.
Psychologically.
I mean, 100%. Like, you're absolutely right. And I think that, like, I used to reference a lot ice dance being very similar to, like, the peacocks of the zoo. You know, like, they're walking around. They're always kind of on show. Like, who's got the prettiest feathers? And, like, you're watching your other disciplines, and they're just chilling. Like, they're very cool, but they're definitely in their cages because they're a little bit more dangerous.
That's pretty funny.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally.
Like,
yeah. Triple Let's Triple Toe from Sofia Samodelkina. She's 18 years old from Kazakhstan, and she was 7th at Four Continents. She's a beautiful skater. She used to represent Russia. I think she switched to Kazakhstan in the last season or two.
you can see Raphael Artunian standing with her as well. You don't see him at events like these days as much. So I know Andrew Torgashev's here, and he's going to be with Andrew. But it's very interesting. I know this isn't the only other skater that he's working with at this event, and I think it's cool to see him back out here.
Definitely. I remember watching Sofia a couple years ago on the Junior Grand Prix circuit when she first started competing internationally as a 13 or 14-year-old. So it's really lovely to watch her now as a young woman. I believe this is her first Senior Worlds. She's a very powerful skater.
Yes.
But also has very gentle movement quality to her.
Well, I was just about to
It's fun
say,
watch.
like, I love the strength that she has. She's such an athlete, but at the same time, it's so delicate.
Yes.
Like,
She knows how to have that presence on the ice, and she really takes the space and makes it her own.
and what I love too within her skating is I talk a lot about, like, I mean, I'm such a skating nerd when it comes to skating skill, but all of this right here, like the weight transfer, everything is so clear, but at the same time, like, her upper body posture is so concise. And I feel like every step is, I mean, I'm not questioning if she's going to trip at all, because she's always aware of where her body weight wants to be moving in space rather than getting caught up. And particularly in footworks, you see people either go a little bit slower because it's more intricate with the change of directions, but when you can see a skater moving at the quickness that she was having, but also with the speed that she was taking, it's a very, very overlooked skill, and
Yes.
I can appreciate it so much. I mean, I know you just love good footwork too, so
I do.
Yeah.
We love the skating skills over here.
Yes, that's it. That's it. I'm such a skating skill nerd.
I think she really stands out in this group, though, with that command and that
Yes.
quick foot ability.
I agree completely. You're
I'm
automatically
very excited to watch her later,
Yes.
based off of this practice.
Yes, absolutely. And like, it's so commanding.
Yes.
It's so commanding, and I find that especially when you want to be pushing higher up in the ranks and whatnot, you need to have that level of just clarity and assurance. So when you're watching it, you put me at ease. When you put me at ease,
Yes.
and then it's like, oh, okay, wow, that now I can just really appreciate what you're doing, rather than like that looks, oh, that's harder. That's like a harder skill for some people, and that's totally fine. But I think that you can really start to see it, and I think as these groups develop, you'll start seeing more and more of that clarity, that assurance, that commandingness.
Yeah, and it's attention to detail, and that's kind of what separates skaters from each other. And I think, especially using her as an example, if you're going to pick music that's really strong in the theme that she chose, something you can tell she's going to hit right away and have that commanding presence is toe point. She
Yes.
pointed her toes the whole program.
Yes.
And that's something that I really appreciate with
Yes.
someone with ballet background.
Yeah.
But also, it makes such a difference in terms of you can't take your eyes off of her as she skates.
Oh, I mean, that's what's so cool about what
Yeah.
you do, right? I mean, it's like I love when I was skating and watching your skating, and when you see an excellent skater, it's not just their ability to like technically run through things, but it's their ability to almost be like puppet masters of their audience, to like draw them in and like control them to an extent. And it's all those like the hands, the toes, the feet, making sure that the knees are like locked out on the extensions. All of those like moments of attention to detail are moments for me to keep my audience member engaged within what I'm doing. So then if I can
Exactly.
do things like that, have the musicality, have the technical, that's when it's like you start seeing performance, you start seeing scores, you start seeing appreciation to start skyrocketing. But it's like the amount of energy that takes is so much greater. Again.
It is. And focus, because your brain has to be on top of those polishing details, but also the choreography and also hitting all the elements. It's such a difficult sport when you break
yeah.
it down in this way.
Oh yeah, and then you also have to like send your body in the air and land too. Like,
Oh my God.
I never had to do that. I did like maybe a couple falling leaps and called it good. You guys,
Did that make your whole program stressful though?
The falling leaf?
I
No.
have to say, well, no, but just I don't. As a single skater, the jumps are the most stressful part of your program,
Mhm.
and if you land all 3 jumps, that's a clean program, quote
Yeah.
unquote, right? And we don't typically worry about messing up the spins or the footwork. It's
Right.
just the jumps, which makes, once the jumps are over, you really get to kind of have that feeling of relief. You shouldn't
Mhm.
relax because you don't want to trip or anything. But for ice dance, since you don't have
no, it's just
the
stressful.
3 jumps,
No.
is the entire program just like,
Yeah. I mean, you know what? To an extent, I'd say like for me personally, like doing a combo lift, just because it was so many points and like physically it was very demanding to make sure that it was done very well. But I was never ever in a situation to where I was like, okay, I'm relieved now, we're almost there. As it was like, okay, once the music's done, am I actually okay with feeling that? Because I think for us, like, not that every step doesn't count for the other disciplines, but literally in ice dance, like if I don't do like a clean 3 turn in a corner or I scratch on it, you might have a judge be like, well, the skating skill quality will go down a little bit. And we're working with like, as every athlete is, but we're working really like every 0.25 matters.
Yeah.
So for us, like every step, arm, every time I connected or disconnected with Caitlin within hold, how I connected and how I disconnected mattered. So that for me was the most stressful part of things, was making sure that I could really facilitate 4 minutes of concentration on everything and then breathing on top of that. So it was like more a fear, not a fear, but like the fear of getting tired because of how much mental and physical capacity that would all take. The relief never really happened until like the end pose, which was usually when I put my hands on my knees and Caitlin would then drag me to the middle. She's like, yo, my dude, we're done. Let's go. I'm like, no. Like I actually, my fingers are solid white because there's no oxygen in them anymore.
That's so funny.
Yeah. The amount of photos that we have of the two of us, and Caitlin's just got this big old grin on her face, and I look genuinely distressed. Only after a freeze short programs, I was like, yo, this is light work. Like, this is chill.
Oh my gosh. Whenever I see skaters celebrate and just get that second wind after they finish a great free skate, and they're kind of like, they have all this energy, in my head I'm like, where is that coming from? Because there's never been a time that I've finished a clean free skate and had the energy to do anything but just put my hands on my hips and hyperventilate, breathe while I tried to bow, but my legs were just jelly.
Literally crumbling, and then there's like that one step to get up to the kissing cry, and you're like, oh wait, hold on, I don't know if I can do that.
My feet are cramping, and I have to take my skates off in the kissing cry.
Yo, we sound like babies, but I'm telling you, this stuff is some of the hardest things I've ever done. Actually, like getting through a long program is exhausting.
It's so exhausting. And to anyone who listens to this and thinks, you know what, maybe they didn't, train enough like stamina, I was doing double run throughs and I still felt that way in competition. So.
I'm actually a big believer that you should always be exhausted after a program.
Yeah, I think so too. It's you putting out your full energy.
Yes.
And shows that you're just like
fully committed,
mentally in it until that ending position, and then you can kind of like actually relax after that.
Yes, I mean 100%. Like that's it. Like you literally gave it your all. And I think that's when like you couldn't do anymore. And I think walking away from an event, I always in a program, when in training and practice or anything, I wanted to always be like, you know what, I couldn't have done more. It may not have been the best, it could have been better, but I couldn't have given more. And I think that was the most important thing for me, is like making sure as an athlete I didn't go to bed with like a what if, or like could I have done more. Because then you've done everything you have, and then at the end of the day you can be like, oh, you know what? Well, I got beat, and that's it.
even when you skate really well and you win, I think there's a sense of you expect to skate well because you train so hard and you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So if a skater, for example, does an insane program and they end and they're just tired and they're obviously happy, but they're not like over celebrating, it's kind of this also show of like, okay, like this is what I came to do. I'm not surprised, if that makes sense, even though you may be ecstatic that you were able to do it. I don't know.
I agree.
I appreciate all ranges, obviously, but I think sometimes over celebrating can seem like, did you not expect to skate a clean program?
Exactly.
Have you been doing this in practice?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, that just wraps up our second group here. You can follow us along on social media at US Figure Skating. Don't be afraid to do that. Tune in. We're just going to have a quick little ice make.
I was pretty young. I was about 5 years old, and I was not one that dealt well with the summer heat in Texas. So we found something indoors, an ice rink. So I really enjoyed that. I never really got to see snow. So being able to see snow and ice was something that was really cool to a 5-year-old in Texas. And I kind of just took off from there. I had helmet, knee pads, elbow pads, and I was just flying across the ice, and it just stuck.
Please welcome to the ice, Amber Glenn.
I'm a little nerdy. I enjoy comic books, anime, cosplaying, a card game called Magic the Gathering. It's a little obscure, but if you know, you know. Just trading and collecting, those kind of things. I have a dog named Uki. I love her so much. She's so cute. Please enter a photo if you can. Love her dearly. And honestly, just spending time with friends and family is huge for me. Obviously, I can't train as much as I did when I was 11, 12, 13. I have to manage my time really well. I have to make sure that I'm taking care of my body and my mind as best as I can. And part of doing it at my age is making sure it's something that I still enjoy, something I get satisfaction out of, and I still do. So just taking care of my body and mind is really important. U.S. Nationals was a whirlwind of emotions. I mean, to go out there and know that it was in my grasp to be the champion was something that I had never really felt before. And after the short program, having such a great time, being in second, being the highest I'd been after a short program before at Nationals was exhilarating. And to land the axel in the free skate, but then have it kind of slip away from me in the second half and lose that focus was devastating. I tried to keep my expectations in check. And when I heard I heard that I had won, I just lost it on national TV, which is a little embarrassing, but it's something that I'll never forget. I'm approaching this season with the mental side being my focus. Of course, I have obvious goals like medaling at both my Grand Prix. This year I'm doing triple axel in both the programs, and just overall trying to stay consistent. As someone that's been skating for almost 20 years, I've had tremendous highs and very low lows, to where I've had to take a step back from skating to prioritize my mental health. But I've also had these highs that are going to be highlights in my life. But I always make sure that I know that I'm more than just my skating, I'm more than just my successes and more than just my failures, that I'm a person who has people that I love and that love me, and to just make sure that that's at my core, and that kind of keeps me in a good direction.
But if there's like a scorpion, I'm suing. I'm so scared. I don't think I trust you guys. I'm so scared. I don't like touching things. Is it moving? Is it a toy spider? Is it food? Ah! I'm scared. Is it food? Is it ramen?
Yep.
Why did I have to close my eyes for you to put it in? Is it food? It's a granola bar, is it not? Well, it feels like one. Just tore it apart like one. It's like sugary. How can it not be granola bar? It feels like a nut. It's a granola bar. It's not a Rice Krispie treat. So it's a granola bar. Oh, Twix?
On the outside.
Snickers? Payday?
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. Jinx. Let me look at it. That's a granola bar. Ew. Ew. It's those peach slices at like breakfast things, because I eat those all the time.
When you contribute to the U.S. Figure Skating Fund, your gift forms the backbone of our initiatives, enabling us to support skaters across all levels and spearhead programs that ignite athlete potential. It's not just a donation, it's an investment in the dreams and aspirations of countless athletes who make figure skating an incredible spectacle of strength, artistry, and resilience. U.S. Figure Skating thanks you for your continued support. When you contribute to the U.S. Figure Skating Fund, your gift forms the backbone of our initiatives, enabling us to support skaters across all levels and spearhead programs that ignite athlete potential. It's not just a donation, it's an investment in the dreams and aspirations of countless athletes who make figure skating an incredible spectacle of strength, artistry, and resilience. U.S. Figure Skating thanks you for your continued support.
Hello, my name is Bruce Hurd, and I've been involved with figure skating since 1962, so 60 plus years of figure skating. I have been a skate tech, strictly a skate tech, for the last 15, and that's been in the Colorado Springs area. My original background, I had developed myself in Montana with famous skaters like John Pektovich, who was one of my idols at the time as a youngster. And that Great Falls Figure Skating Club was one of the original 12 clubs in the United States. So I was just blessed to be living in there and being able to get started in my career at the time. After going through all of my competitive career, I decided that I wanted to do some teaching, did some teaching. In the meantime, all those years before, my father was actually started skate sharpening when I was a kid. I never really learned from him, but then I was later on introduced to Sid Broadbent, who is now 102, and he was the developer of one of the skating machines. And I spent 25 years of engineering, instruction, and development with him, and just learning the design and understanding of boots, blades, and what I like to call the real balance. Everybody has a balance, and that's how I treat it. Everybody is individual, has different feet, different structures, and I want to give it the best that I can for each one of them.
Played one time for each competitor in the following order: Alexandra FEIGIN, Kristen SPOURS, Olga MIKUTINA, Sofia Stepchenko, Mariia SENIUK.
All right, and we are back for group number 3. My coffee has turned to now an iced coffee. It is a little chilly in here, but that is all good. For those of you watching, I have Polina Edmonds with me. This is amazing. I'm learning so much. We're having a great time chatting about our previous experiences and all those fun things. We're watching some amazing skaters out here. If you guys have any questions, please send them to me or Polina at Jean-Luc Baker, at Polina Edmonds, at US Figure Skating, on Twitter, on X, whatever you want to call it these days. I still like to say Twitter, but please, we're going to do our best to answer those questions. We got some great ones yesterday that we were getting to. So if you want to know anything, yes, I ordered a cappuccino. If you want to know what kind of coffee it was, there are great coffee places here. But by all means, send them our way. We're going to do our best to answer. So in the last group, we were talking just a little bit about like those amazing performances that we are seeing, that we're going to see. Do you have a favorite performance that you ever had where you, like, talking about how tired we got in our skates as well? Do you ever have a performance where you're like, you finished and you're like, oh, whoa, that just happened. Like, I just made that happen. Any standout performance that you did where you're like, oh my gosh, like you almost started laughing?
I think for me,
I know I have a couple, but I'm ready to hear about yours.
I think for as a senior, probably my short program here in Boston, because I skated last in the entire event.
Sick.
And it was my first year senior. And I knew it was the Olympic year, but coming in with no senior experience, I had no idea how I would be perceived. And I skated a clean short program, and it was probably like the best short program I've ever done. And when I finished it, I was just really amped. And I remember there was like a crowd of the juniors who I had gone to junior Grand Prix with sitting really close, and they were all on their feet cheering for me. And I remember thinking, like, oh yeah, my friends just saw this.
Yeah.
And then I got great scores in the kiss and cry, and I was like, oh.
Oh, wait, that didn't suck. That was pretty good.
So that's probably mine. What about yours?
I remember, I mean, it was like a pinnacle of many things, but the Olympic qualifier in 2022 at our US Nationals, I mean, there was just so much on the plate, like, required for us to try to be a part of that Olympic team with the summer we had with, like, really, really bad injuries. I mean, Caitlin tore her ACL that summer, and then we didn't even know if we were going to be able to compete, and she did such an amazing job of just being like, you know what, it's fine, I'm going to tape it, and then just dealt with that. I mean, we were just fighting an uphill battle all year and doing the best that we could with the time that we had. And we were sitting in fourth after the short, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to be first alternates again. Like, this is crazy. We were like the best at being first alternates for things for so long because U.S. ice dance was so deep with Hubble Donahue, Chalk Bates, Shibatanis, and we were always in fourth place, and we did everything we could every time. But I remember that U.S. championships, we just really delivered the free dance of our lives, having to make sure we were going to try to solidify that spot.
Hi, I'm Rob.
And I remember that, sorry, Rob, everybody just said hi. He, it's all good. Don't worry about it, Rob. And a little collision on the ice there. It's very rare you see that. And yeah, I remember just hitting our end pose, and I started laughing so much.
Competitors, this warm-up has ended. Music will be played, beginning with Alexandra FEIGIN of Bulgaria, followed by Kristen SPOURS of Great Britain. Skating now, here is Alexandra FEIGIN of Bulgaria.
Well, we totally healthy before anyone says that's not healthy. Yeah, she's perfect.
Wow.
So as these groups start developing further and further and later, you're going to start seeing that quality rise, and you can already see a different step up. I think just within the skating skill between some of these skaters and just the choreographic attention to detail and movement. This is choreographed by Benoit Richaud. He has a very distinct style to where you could almost see, knowing that he has done something. He has very, very clear attributes to what he likes to do within his programs.
This music is from Game of Thrones.
Love that show. I just finished it.
No way.
Yeah, watched it for the first time over the last
That is
couple.
an insane show.
Unreal. Love it.
Very cinematic.
Oh my gosh.
It always makes me excited when skaters skate to music from popular stories and shows and books and movies, because I feel like we get to see their portrayal of a character typically on ice. It's cool to have something else to connect to.
I agree. So we got a question. How do you recover your legs after a long travel day before competition? Oh my gosh, that is a tough question, but we all have different things. What works for you?
Sleep. Stretching. I think if my legs were actually feeling off for me, then I would be mindful of that in my practice and not overdo it. And just mostly try to warm them up for the following day. But I typically came and wanted to compete within 1 or 2 days.
Oh, so did you like not having many practice days when you were at the event?
Yes.
You like to just bang it out?
I found that if I came too early, I would use up all of my adrenaline and be amazing in practice for the first 1 or 2 days, and then after that it would just go down for me. So I needed to compete instantly. It was another trial and error. One season I didn't skate super well at my Grand Prix because I just showed up way too early. And after that we knew. Kristen is the national champion for Great Britain. She was 9th at Europeans. She's 24 years old, and man, this program is electric.
I was gonna say, straight out of the gate, performance, bam. From her start pose, from the moment she started, you can see it. She's such a powerful skater, commanding of the ice and the space, and the musicality that she has choreographed and that she's choosing to do her movements on. It's very, very interesting and clear, and I like it when, as a judge, even though I'm not a judge, yeah, I think just like everything is clear and hit. Make their job easy.
She has very natural and soft arm movement, yet she's sharp at the same time.
Yes.
Great extension as well.
Yes. To dive in on that question of how I recovered my legs, I found that oftentimes we would travel with a pair of Normatec pants.
Those are nice.
Yeah, I was a huge advocate of using those, not for a long time, but just getting those flushes in my legs. And then depending on the length of the flight, I really would like try to keep myself moving on the flight. I know that's like ridiculous, but making sure I do walk up and down the aisles a little bit if we're flying to Asia or a longer European flight. It was more like my calves that I found would get really like sore. I mean, your legs you get used to your legs as being tired, to be honest with you, being a skater.
It's true. I think at some point you also start to realize what you need in terms of your travel days. So I was definitely a skater that was every couple hours on the international flight, going down the aisles and doing leg lunges and stretching in the back.
Right.
Yeah. There's a pretty funny video I had going to, I think it was my first Worlds, but Jason Brown and I were on the same flight, and he and I were both doing leg lunges down
Down the aisle.
My mom took a video.
That's hilarious.
Skating now, Olga MIKUTINA of Austria, followed by Sofia Stepchenko of Latvia.
Olga MIKUTINA is the Austrian national champion. She was 8th and 9th at her 2 Grand Prix this season, and she was 14th at Worlds last year. She's 21 years old.
Very powerful straight out of the gate.
She is another skater that typically has really impressive quick feet and skating skills in her choreography. You'll find that there's typically a lot of detail in her programs.
Mm-hmm.
That was a beautiful kind of step sequence, bracket into her double
Yes.
axel,
Yeah.
spread eagle out.
Yeah, I was a fan.
Program music time, 2 minutes, 51 seconds. Skating now, here is Sofia Stepchenko of Latvia, followed by Mariia SENIUK of Israel.
Sophia was 2nd at Latvian Nationals this season, 12th at Skate America, and 31st at Worlds last year. She is 18 years old.
Wow, I got some height.
Bullets triple toes in.
Program music time. 2 minutes, 51 seconds. Skating now, Sofia Stepchenko of Latvia, followed by Mariia SENIUK of Israel. Correction. Skating now, Mariia SENIUK of Israel.
Mariia is the national champion from Israel. She was 13th at Europeans and 32nd at Worlds last year. She is 19 years old. Sometimes when skaters try really hard to go as high as they can, they tilt back on the entry and then they're tilted in the air, so they have to keep everything going forward.
I feel like there's got to be so much clarity on just like understanding where you want your body to go in space. Like it's probably very tough and challenging while you're in the air to realize where you are and where you want to go.
That was a really cool transition.
That was sick, right?
I love it when skaters do 2 or 3 big edge turns in a sequence and fill the entire length of the rink up.
Yes. Show me those skating skills.
I really like that her step sequence takes up so much space.
Me too.
Program music time, 2 minutes, 48 seconds. Competitors, there are approximately 8 minutes remaining in this practice session.
Were you a big advocate of trying to fill your whole practice, like using every minute that you got, or did you like to, once your job was done, just call it and go home and rest?
I think if I got through my plan, then I would call it maybe a couple minutes early. But in general, I usually don't use the whole time allotted. But more so in taking a couple laps to stroke or defensive skills at the end. I always did a lap of what my coach called Michelle Fox stroking.
Oh my God.
Before I got off the ice, kind of like defense that feeling. It always, that was like my most similar to the way ice dancers present themselves and stuff on the ice. It was that, you know, power and speed, but eyes to the end of the last row, chin lifted.
That's right.
Type of posturing as I skated around the rink, and that was like the ending of every practice.
That's how you closed it.
Yeah.
You know what?
That was my closing.
That's right. That's right. It's the closing, right? And I think that's so important. We used to do something similar and just take a lap or two for ourselves, just for a little bit of that skating skill, but also like I'd use it not to really show anything off per se, but really just take in like the feeling of the arena that I'm going to be skating in, or taking in, like you said, like keeping that chin up, but looking the back row, trying to feel like I can look through the walls and like filling as much space not just like physically, but also like energetically, wanting to, when I come back competing later on in the day, that I know that I have that energy that I can step into, as opposed to when it's in a different arena like this, being a practice rink to the main rink. I think that what's challenging is like visualizing that feeling, or getting that feeling, that energy that you want to be competing in later in the day. Did you have a preference or did you not mind if you were skating on a practice rink and then going to the main rink the day of competition, or did you like doing main rink and then staying in the main rink?
I mean, I think staying in the main rink is the best because there's nothing to skate in the arena.
Yeah, oh my God, yeah.
But even so, in the setting here, everyone's walking around with their badges, there's high-level coaches, and everyone's around, so it still feels the same energy in this rink. So I think all these women are still feeling that like buzz on, feeling that they would be absolutely there.
Yeah, and this rink particular, I mean, I was saying yesterday how beautiful it is, just having the 360 or almost 360 of windows everywhere. You're just getting all that natural light in, but it's so interesting because it feels like a practice rink. It feels very much like with no audience coming in and watching. I mean, you can watch at home, but we don't really know if you're watching or not. And as a skater, you're not really paying attention to that, but getting that direct feedback, or that ability to perform for more people, it's always nice to just rehearse that kind of skill.
And I think just the fact that this rink doesn't have windows, they took all the windows and everything down, also kind of creates that competition feeling.
Oh, like the plexiglass?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like we're watching with nothing dividing us from the skaters right now, and it also kind of makes it feel more professional in the sense of a competition right now.
I agree.
sass him, and he would sass me back. And so during practices, that was all fun and games. But for that period of competition, when I'm zoned in, we're not really speaking to each other.
Right.
So it is a little bit different in that. Man, even thinking about that right now is giving me like the feels of,
nerves.
ooh, I hated that feeling.
Yes. Yeah. It's so funny, like watching the events and then seeing the skaters walk out for their 6-minute or their 5-minute warm up. I'm like, ooh, I miss that, but I don't miss it all in one. Like, I miss that. I miss the moment of like right before, after they call your name and right before the music plays and it's quiet and that like
You liked that moment?
I loved it because it was like I loved it because it was like I always asked myself, like, am I going to do this right now? Like, am I going to show up for myself or not? And that like decision of like, what am I going to do? Because I'm fully in control of this. I'm like 100% in control of how the next 4 minutes goes. What am I going to do with it?
Did you have any phrases you would tell yourself in that like minute or 30 seconds in between your name being called and the music starting? Were there any consistent things that you did or rituals?
So interesting. Yeah. So like something that I really leaned into was just I'd look a lot at Caitlin and like really kind of tap into the senses of like feel and touch and like try to smell like what I could smell. And see, and I'd really lean into that, but not many phrases other than just like trust, and like we were both big believers on like, in order to receive, you have to give, and like the more love and the more authenticness we gave, the more we received. So that's something that we always tried to lean into and do. All right, so now we're on the next group again, amping some of things up. I love the casual nonchalantness of Alyssa just getting on when she's like, yeah, Alyssa's like, oh yeah, I guess it's time. I'm going to skate now. Seems like that's the move.
She remembered to take her guards off. I'm very proud
yeah,
of her.
I saw that video. She is so funny as a person. She's just like, oh yeah, let's skate. It's time.
I love it.
One of her head coaches there, Massimo Scali, like, just having the opportunity to be coached by him and have him choreograph for us was probably one of my highlights of my competitive career. Is just like a phenomenal person, but as when it comes to choreography and just the way his mind works, it's just like, oh my gosh. And I think that goes to show like finding that groove and that rhythm for Alyssa Liu here and the programs that she's done. He just honors who you are as a person, and he's like, how can I make that be into art and into sport as well?
I think it's really something to applaud as well that Alyssa, this is her first season back since she competed in 2022. And in her first season comeback, she's here at Worlds, which is incredible, but her programs are very well done, and she's done a great job performing them this season. So for her choreographer, for Massimo, to have gone through this process with her and kind of show the adult version of Alyssa this season, as we all knew her as, you know, the teenage version, the younger one. Not that she's still not a teenager, but
she's changed in a great way.
A lot, and she's grown up a lot, and she's bringing that and telling her story on the ice now. But you know, the vehicle that you have in terms of programs is so important to be able to show that, and I think she's got something really great going for her this season.
I agree.
I skate with Alyssa semi-regularly in San Francisco when I pop in and out of the rink to skate for fun, and the energy that she has with her coaching team is so positive and so fun. It's really great to see that type of vibe and influence in elite skating and training. Especially as we go into adulthood, you know, we need different things than we needed as kids in terms of just kind of discipline and how you perceive competitive skating.
Yeah, absolutely. The support system and like sometimes you need to be told what to do and sometimes you need to be asked what you want to do, and like that conversation and that fine line of starting to take much more ownership within your skating and your career, I think really starts to create more of a well-rounded, authentic approach, and that's what's super cool about seeing this. Also in this group we have Wakaba. This is very exciting. I mean, she is a powerhouse of a skater. Some beautiful things that she produces.
She has great programs this year. The short program is to Dune. Dune soundtrack, which is a popular theme this season.
It is, yes.
As it should be. It's a great film, but also we've just been seeing amazing programs from everyone all season with Dune themes. So
yes.
Wakaba's no different.
Competitors, there is 1 minute remaining in this warm-up session.
My ritual whenever my name would be called and I have that 30 seconds is I would send up a quick prayer asking God to help me through the program.
I love it.
And then I would usually tell myself that I was fine and that I got this.
Yes.
And I would also internally have those panic spiral moments of, are my skates tight enough? Are the hairpins in my apron secure? You know, just little silly things like that.
The rabbit hole.
Oh my God.
Are my blades too sharp? Are they not sharp enough?
Do I need to go to the bathroom or am I just nervous? You
Yeah,
know,
that's
those
it.
like little tiny panic moments, and then it would just be reiteration of you're fine, just do it.
I had a coach tell us once, we were super nervous before a competition after a 5-minute warm-up, and the coach looked at us and said, "Hey, look over there in the corner." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "It's an exit sign." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "You can leave if you want." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "I mean, you won't get in trouble. Like, you can, this is your choice." And he's like, "Literally, you can leave." And then everything shifted. I was like, "Oh, I don't want to leave." I also love this music. I gotta watch this program. I believe it's Skate America. And the music still is like so captivating.
Olivia Kaiser was second at Swiss Nationals. She was 8th and 9th in her Grand Prix this season and 9th at Worlds last year. She is 20 years old.
What's so cool about watching skaters develop throughout a season is just the attention to detail and like how much that changes from September to October, from October to November. You know what? Like, It depends, right? I think black is hard to see the delicacy of the hands. And I appreciate it so much. I miss, like, when you see that attention to detail of hands and fingers when you skate. I mean, you understand, like, from that ballet background that you've trained and whatnot and within your skate.
Blossom at different timelines, and so you never want to cut yourself off too early.
No, exactly, right?
Program music time, 2 minutes, 50 seconds. Skating now, Alysa from the United States of America, to be followed by Lara and Naki GUTMANN from Italy.
Skating now, Alysa. I love it when the programs fade. Started warming up. It's just
the chills.
Yeah, but it's like, it's just that ability to just, it's not that she doesn't try, but she's not.
She's very natural.
Yeah, she's not trying to sell me a product. She's just being Alysa.
Yes.
And like everything just makes sense structurally, like composition-wise, musicality, skating-wise, knowing when to push, when to just breathe.
I think another great attribute to this program is just that she doesn't rush. I mean, it's tough because I think the magic of the program gets a little spent in the first season that you use it.
I agree.
Unless you didn't get the opportunity to fully see it through that season. Say you maybe didn't have the best performance at your nationals halfway through the senior season and you don't qualify for other events. I would say it would be okay to kind of keep it then. But for a skater that takes a program all the way through to Worlds, especially if they skate well with it,
yes,
I think they should recycle to kind of create magic for the next season.
Yep, I agree to that.
2 minutes, 51 seconds.
I also would be so sick of skating to my program by Worlds. There's no way that
2
I would
times.
keep it.
Yeah.
To be followed by Lorine SCHILD from France.
That will get a massive standing ovation if it's skated to its extent. Vibe change.
Oh, Squid Game.
That's right.
Lara was second at Italian Nationals, 6th at Europeans this year. She was 6th and 3rd at her Grand Prix. She's the bronze medalist of Finlandia. And she is 22 years old.
Both are great, but the softness is not there comparatively speaking.
I would say there's a little less attention to detail in terms of the choreography with arm movement, as well as even just like quick footwork.
Yep.
But very different styles of music and skating.
I mean, very different. The difference is I find that like something like this can be exciting and like, whoa, that's cool, versus, whoa, that's beautiful, and creates a moment. Both are equally as powerful.
Yes.
It's just depending on the approach that the skater wants to take.
I think the best example of that would be, I've always been torn between the Olympic ice dance event in 2018 with Gabby and Guillaume's Moonlight Sonata.
Yeah.
Free dance was like my ultimate favorite free dance, and they just like casted a spell on the ice. You were just entranced for the whole performance. But then Tessa and Scott come out with the power and like different type of storytelling, and it was equally as captivating.
Crazy, right?
And so it really, to me, it felt like whoever skated last was gonna win.
Yeah.
And that was like how the cards rolled, because they were both just so good and so different.
Yes. And that intensity, like the intensity that they brought. like massaging my brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Or I don't even know if this has happened. It definitely probably has. But if a skater's skating to the same music and they go back to back.
That's happened to me before,
Yeah,
actually.
there you
Yes,
go.
yes.
Yeah.
Literally with
Like
Alexandra.
what effect does that have on the judges? You know, it's like, it's crazy.
It's so interesting because it's like literally directly compared then.
Yeah. Lorine she was 10th and 6th at her Grand Prix this year. She represents France. She was 10th at Europeans this season, and she was 17th at Worlds last year. She's 20 years old.
Program music time, 2 minutes, 57 seconds. Skating now, Wakaba Kaguchi from Japan.
Here comes Dune.
Dune, dune, dune.
Wakaba was 3rd at Japanese Nationals this season. She was 4th at Four Continents. And she was 1st and 2nd at her Grand Prix this season. 4th at the Grand Prix final. She's 24 years old. She's been killing it all season.
She has.
Solid double axel. She's another skater that just really commands the ice with her speed and power.
Yes.
I love that while she's a very athletic style skater, she also has soft arm movement.
Mm-hmm.
It's unique to watch.
And we talk about like importance of musicality and things like that when it comes to programs. And with a program like Dune and the music that we have here, I think that what's so interesting is like her command of the ice and the energy that she omits, I think is so cool. Like you don't need much facial expression within it. Like just a little bit of eye contact here and there and like just that deep internal energy going out. Just like that moment right there. Just staring someone down, making judge number 4 be like, oh, I'm not allowed to react right now.
Agreed.
Is so cool.
I think that's a good point too for skaters who sometimes struggle with face emotion in programs, is being strategic about the music choice that you pick.
Yes.
To kind of make that part of the theme.
Yes.
Can also be so impactful towards the perception of your program performance.
Yes.
Not that Wakaba is a non-expressive skater. She's definitely expressive and has always great command with every part of her skating. But I know that there are many skaters that maybe don't always feel as comfortable staring down a judge or, you know, flashing a smile. It just doesn't feel authentic to them. So
This footwork's crazy. It's just like
yes.
gooey in a way that like every move is like not rushed. She's just taking each moment to go through all of the arm paths, all of the turns.
This program has great composition.
And again,
Oh,
it's
that's
such
gonna go crazy. In the
exactly
arena.
right, and such a different feeling because you're not like, oh my god, that was beautiful, and not like, oh my god, that was so exciting, but oh my gosh, like it's just such a different energy that you can leave your audience with, which is what you want to have, like having that diversity of playing to your own strengths. And I think that how you can control that audience within the performance you have, like that's going to really skate it at its fullest potential, which I think that she's. Butcher the name. I should remember it now, but I believe he did it at Four Continents. I know that for sure. And it was his.
skate and a high-level figure skater is an expensive sport to be a part of, along with life outside of it. So I've always leaned on Friends of Figure Skating and US Figure Skating for scholarships and funding when they're available. Each year at my level of figure skating, it costs anywhere between $50,000 and $60,000 when you add up all of the ice time that we pay for, the coaching fees both at home and when we travel internationally, the travel fees to nationals, boots, blades, and costumes and choreography. There's quite a bit that goes into the full package that becomes figure skating and what you see on TV, and then you add in on top of what the performance all accumulates from, and you add in recovery so that my body can stay healthy, and strength training as well. There's quite a bit that goes into it.
Hi, Saga.
Clara.
Hi, Saga.
Ellie.
Hi, Saga.
Ashley.
Hi, Saga.
Laura.
Hi, Saga.
Go back in the line. Go back in the line. I know you.
Hi, Saga.
Say it again.
Hi, Saga.
I know you. Get it. Taylor.
Hi, Saga.
Paige.
Hi, Saga.
Go back in the line.
Hi, Saga.
Paige! I tell you that was wrong.
Hi, Saga.
Paige!
Hi, Saga.
Oh. Mr. Jacob.
Hi, Saga.
I know you. You're somebody who asks questions. Again.
Hi, Saga.
I can't get it. No. Back in the line. Next.
Hi, Saga.
Again.
Hi, Saga.
No clue. Caroline.
Hi, Saga.
The very soft voice.
Yeah.
Sarai.
Hi, Saga.
Say it again.
Hi, Saga.
He's a big boy voice. Kyan. Moving it.
Hi, Saga.
That's a Spice Girl. Oh, come on.
Hi, Saga.
Say it again.
Hi, Saga.
Ah, the little Monaco.
Hi, Saga.
Rosa.
Hi, Saga.
Say it again.
Hi, Saga.
Why are you so far away from me?
Hi, Saga.
Caroline?
Hi, Saga.
Say it again.
Hi, Saga.
Hi, Saga. Say it again.
Hi, Saga.
Kitty cat!
Hi, Saga.
Sydney.
Hi, Saga.
Sydney.
Hi, Saga.
Caroline?
Hi, Saga.
Autumn.
Hi, Saga.
Ashley.
Lobster, butter, bread. That's it. It's very simple.
Hot. Hot.
But why? It's hot. Do you have more of that lobster? Like it's just lobster, butter, bread. That's it. It's very simple.
Simple is always best. You need to be hot.
Hot, for sure.
Hot.
Flavor.
The hot lobster roll was better. It's right. The more lobster you get, the better.
Hello, my name is Bruce Hurd, and I've been involved with figure skating since 1962, so 60 plus years of figure skating. I have been a skate tech, strictly a skate tech, for the last 15, and that's been in the Colorado Springs area. My original background, I had developed myself in Montana with famous skaters like John Pektovich, who was one of my idols at the time as a youngster. And that Great Falls Figure Skating Club was one of the original 12 clubs in the United States. So I was just blessed to be living in there and being able to get started in my career at the time. After going through all of my competitive career, I decided that I wanted to do some teaching, did some teaching. In the meantime, all those years before, my father was actually started skate sharpening when I was a kid. I never really learned from him, but then I was later on introduced to Sid Broadbent, who is now 102, and he was the developer of one of the skating machines. And I spent 25 years of engineering, instruction, and development with him, and just learning the design and understanding of boots, blades, and what I like to call the real balance. Everybody has a balance, and that's how I treat it. Everybody is individual, has different feet, different structures, and I want to give it the best that I can for each one of them.
Good morning and welcome to Practice Ice for Women's Group 5. The following competitors are on the ice for a 6-minute warm-up, after which program music will be played once for each competitor in the following order. Haein Lee, Republic of Korea. Madeline SCHIZAS, Canada. Ekaterina Karakova, Poland. Kimi Rapond, Switzerland. Mone CHIBA of Japan. And Niina PETROKINA from Estonia.
Okay, and we are back for our last two groupings of this women's short program warm-up here before the event starts later, I believe at 12:05. I could be wrong. That could be at 12:50. Let me double check real quick. But yes, 12:05. Yes, that's exactly it. Thank you, Quanette. It was Schindler's List, the one that I was talking about for Josh Ferris. But yeah, thank you for that quick little song check. I couldn't figure out what it was, but you knew exactly what I was talking about. You were picking up what I was throwing down.
I was picking it up.
That's it. Okay, so here we go. Our last two groupings. Send us anything at Jean-Luc Baker, at Polina Edmonds, on Twitter, on X, at US Figure Skating. We're just checking all the things. We're doing our best to answer any questions, anything you guys got. We're just giving you our insight and giving you some little stories along the way. And follow us along on social media at US Figure Skating. You can see all the platforms on the screen there. You got TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all the other fun stuff. We are here at Rinkside, the practice cam. Let's do this thing.
A program that I remember being a young skater in the crowd.
Yeah, I want to hear yours.
Watching. It's pretty niche. It was in 2011 in Greensboro at Nationals.
Oh,
I was a
niche.
junior. I
Okay.
think I was like 12.
Okay.
And I watched Rachel Flatt skate her short program to East of Eden.
Oh.
And it's like forever locked in my memory. She was in a yellow dress and had short hair. I remember everything about this program. But not only did she skate well technically, but her final element was the step sequence, and it's kind of rare for a single skater to go all out energy wise in a step sequence, just because we don't necessarily always train like that, even though we should.
Yeah.
But she had the most insane 110% energy step sequence building with the music, and I remember just being a young skater watching and eating it up, and I was like on my feet, and the whole arena was. She painted such an amazing picture. But I remember watching it in a YouTube video later, and it kind of gave you that feeling, but watching it live was like, oh my god, nothing like it.
Nothing.
So you do always remember those niche moments.
I mean, that's the thing. It's got to be memorable.
Lots of really good skaters in this group.
Yeah. Yeah, we're really upping the ante now.
Again, always interesting to see who's in full costume and who's in full practice gear.
Who wants that comfort of just like the normalcy of kind of training at home, and versus who wants to get those like the putting on a costume, it does feel different.
It does.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't imagine a dress, but even just me putting on my competition pants. Something I used to do is I used to always train underneath like my Lululemon pants that I'd wear. I'd always have like running tights on because I'd hate being cold, first off. But two, I would compete with those on, and everyone's like, well, wouldn't you get so hot? And I was like, to an extent, I would get very warm, but I loved not feeling like I was putting on a costume. It would be such a feeling thing for me that that would be my like daily regular thing. That one, then I wouldn't worry about getting cold after that 5-minute warm up if we did have a 45-minute wait before we competed. But also too, like it didn't really feel like I was putting on different pants, which I loved, just not worrying about that at all, because it does add another little extra stressor if you're not used to it.
It's so true. I mean, even something as different as your typical yoga pants that girls wear on the ice now in practice versus the thinner beige tights that you wear in competition, they do feel pretty different.
I was going to say, like, and it must be hard to find like tights that you like too, because I know that they're probably all different.
Yeah, I had one pair that I would always wear. I think the brand was Nita Sports. It was really comfortable, like thick enough without being too thick or too thin. But I watch a lot of skaters now skate in like complete see-through, like almost like pantyhose style. And I can't imagine skating in those. I mean, I've just never tried that style, but it is also totally person to person.
It's like a very ice dancer thing to do.
Yeah. I think it's funny when you can see like the tape.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
But I think something that I started to do as I got older was just practice without gloves, because it also feels different to skate with gloves versus without gloves. So that was kind of the only thing I would do in competition practices that I wouldn't normally do at home, was already start the feeling of no gloves. It helps if the rink is warmer.
It does.
Competitors, this warm-up is concluded. Music will be played, beginning with Aeon Lee, Republic of Korea, followed by Madeline SCHIZAS of Canada.
Aeon was 6th at Korean Nationals, 8th at Fort Collins, and she was 6th at Worlds last year. She's 19 years old.
Well, really just straight out of the the first jumping pass. Really no time to sleep.
Out of the way. She's breathing. Maybe I'll put this in too. She's skating the Ave Maria. Nailed all of her jumping passes in this similar
Again, so interesting to see people's approach on this. Some people are really just hammering out jumping passes, some just marking them.
I guess we'll see if their strategy works later on in the day.
That's right.
Anne has such a willowy quality to her skating. She's got hard lines.
So true.
Yeah. I loved that step sequence.
So easy to watch.
She has great freedom in her upper body. I think something that would really take her skating to the next level and finish the beauty that she already showcases is if she paid a little bit more attention to toe point.
Yeah, 100%.
There's a couple moments where her foot is flexed and it feels like the line doesn't quite finish, but everything else is just gorgeous.
I agree. It's so contrasting to how beautiful her hands are when she skates that I'm like, just give me like 3% more energy into that toe point. And then, like, it's not much. I know it's a lot. Like, I'm asking for a lot. At the same time, I'm not. But I agree with you so much. It goes such a long way.
Madeline is the Canadian national champion. She was 12th at Four Continents, 5th and 7th at her 2 Grand Prix this season. And she was 18th at Worlds last year. She's 22 years old. She's skating to Lion King.
Quizzle transition
I'm a
out.
fan.
Maddie is one of those skaters where if she hits her jumps, they are so beautiful.
I agree. I think something for me too within her skating, like I think that she has so much room within the expression that she does, but I wish that there was a little bit more intention when she did express. Obviously not right now, as she's taking a moment just to mark some things, but I think that in between elements, there's like moments of her expressing during an element, but in between sometimes it's like, I'm gonna make sure I do my element, which I wish there was a little bit more attention to that detail. Like through that whole cool sequence here.
She's clearly focused on her spin.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You can see it, and it's like, I understand that the technical, it's like tough. I can't, like, I mean, there's no scenario in any world you're seeing me do that. But that on and off is what's gonna allow me to like look at something else or think about something else when I'm not getting that full commitment to character. Now I understand she's competing later, so that could be strategy, but but I do wish I saw a little bit more of that, because you can't just expect it to turn on for the event.
Yeah, and I think it's important for skaters. Katarina Kurakova is the Polish national champion. She was 8th at Europeans, 9th and 11th at her 2 Grand Prix this season, and 11th at Worlds last year. She's 22 years old, skating to Let's Get Loud.
I also know you can appreciate a good Latin like body roll in there.
Oh yeah.
So
we love the ballroom.
That's it.
Triple loop. She always brings the spice with her skating.
That's it.
Very entertaining. Regardless of how her elements go, I always appreciate her commitment to character and performance.
And as I was talking about it earlier about the crowd getting involved, this would be a perfect opportunity for people to start clapping along. I mean, obviously not right now, but later this afternoon when we're watching this program. Hey, let's
Body
go.
roll.
Hey, she's trying to get you guys involved. I just won't clap right now because we're on mic'd.
This type of program and step sequence is the perfect type to kind of flirt with the audience, flirt with the judges, which can be really fun for the skater.
I agree. And it's fun for the audience.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to get you involved. Absolutely. Please don't leave me alone out there. There's honestly nothing worse than when you're like giving and you're selling and you're giving face like that and the audience just looks at you like
exactly
that blank stare. I'm like, oh my gosh, lights on, no one's home. Oh, I'm doing something not right.
No, totally. Or vice versa, as someone in the audience. it can be hard to do when you have long limbs. Speaking as someone with experience, she makes sure to finish her arm and leg movements, and that can take a little longer when you have longer limbs.
Yeah, it's
But
fair.
she does it, and I really appreciate that.
What I actually really appreciate too is that she doesn't take her length and her height for granted in a way that, like, I have worked with skaters and I've seen skaters that are taller that are like, oh, like, I don't need to work to look bigger because I'm already bigger. And I think that particularly in ice dance, you see a lot of the guys not really committing to their movements nearly as much with the size that they have, because they're like, it's fine, I'm 6 foot something. And I never really had that luxury being 5'6". So I think that, like, I have a harder time finding, and I can imagine with a longer arm or a longer leg, it probably takes a little bit more time and effort to do it. But I think that when you see someone like Kimmy really reaching and getting that stretch, you're like, oh, okay, like, now if I was on the ice or there's someone that's smaller in stature, will have to work harder to make themselves look bigger to keep up to par with that size of height. You know what I mean? And I think that, like, I can appreciate it so much.
Absolutely.
Program music time, 2 minutes, 51 seconds. Skating now, Mone CHIBA of Japan, followed by Niina PETROKINA of Estonia.
If she skates well in competition, that will be a hit in the arena as well.
People are going to go nuts.
Definitely. Niina PETROKINA is the Estonian national champion and first ever Estonian in history European champion this season. She was 10th and 6th at her Grand Prix this season, 16th at Worlds last year. She is 20 years old.
And talk about, I watched her at Europeans, like how amazing to win, being the first Estonian woman to win Europeans in Estonia.
Yes, hometown.
Like, how crazy. That audience was blowing up for her.
It is so incredible. She trains in Tallinn as well, which is where they held Europeans, so.
approximately 5 minutes remaining in this practice session.
Everyone's gone.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was just about to say, you can see these women are getting off earlier and earlier now because I think they want to make sure that turnaround for them, because the event starts technically in about an hour and 20 minutes. Even though they won't be skating first, they'll be skating later on in the day. I think they want to make sure that they can go back, get some good lunch in or breakfast or whatever they're going to be doing, get some adequate rest in. I mean, did you time that stuff out when you were competing, or were you just kind of
Definitely.
like... Yeah.
I think I always tried to eat a meal 2 hours before, and then, you know, you always want to be at the arena about an hour before your warm-up on ice starts. You don't want to be there too early, just hanging out, but you also want to make sure that you have ample time, that you're not rushing. So you kind of have to watch which warm-up group you need to be at the arena for if you're in a later warm-up group.
So, talking about eating 2 hours before, did you ever have like a hard time eating before you competed from like nerves and whatnot?
I think for sure it wasn't always like enjoyable because I would be nervous, but I knew that I needed it for the energy.
Yes.
It's like putting gas in the tank, you know?
Yes.
Car won't run without it. I knew that if I didn't eat, my nerves were going to eat me. So I needed something in my stomach. And I would always, I'll never forget, when I was a teenager, I had such a high metabolism. I was at a junior Grand Prix and I had like, I was at the arena because for some reason, it was one of those weird in-between times where it was between meal times at the hotel. So I couldn't eat dinner before the event. And I remember going to the arena and eating at like the snack shack kind of. And I was eating like potatoes and fried cutlet and just like the heaviest food. And there were coaches and judges sitting in there like looking at me. Is she serious? Like before a free skate?
And you're like, yeah, I actually.
Yeah, and then I skated really well. I was like, joke's on you, I eat like this at home. I need this.
This makes me feel at home, like in my own peace. Yeah, but it's so tough. Like I really struggled with the eating. It's same thing. I never really enjoyed it. The day of our rhythm dance or the short program, I was no problem. Light work. I was like, we're good. Like day of the free program, kid will be like, yo, did you eat? Like please eat. I really did not. I struggled finding the ability to want to put food in me, and it was bad. But I did always. But I snacked so much. Did little bars or snacks or protein bars or protein shakes, just to try to get like as much nutrients as I could, because I knew at that 3-minute or 4-minute mark, if I didn't, my legs are either going to start committing to me or they're going to be like, yo, let's get off the ice now, and they'd start buckling. So
totally.
Fueling that body is so crucial.
Yeah, and I think it's important also to note that when you're in competition, because of the added adrenaline stress, your body requires way more energy than you would at practice even. So, of course, like everyone has their pre-competition ritual and routines with how you warm up, what you eat, all this different stuff, but you need something typically because of how much energy you're burning. So for me, I was like, I need to eat the carbs or whatever it was, because I like would feel like a hot air balloon rising on the ice if I didn't. I felt like the nerves were just going to overtake me and I couldn't mentally concentrate them down unless I ate something.
That's it. I used to eat those like Cliff Bar shot blocks in the locker room as I was tying my skates before I got on.
Oh my God.
Or those like honey stinger waffles.
When I was really young, probably until like the Olympics, my mom would bring a See's Candy chocolate box. And then in the locker room before the 6-minute warm up, her and I would both eat a chocolate truffle. And then I would go out there.
Oh, nice.
The little sugar rush.
The following order: Niina PINZARRONE from Belgium, Anastasiia GUBANOVA from Georgia, Amber Glenn from the United States of America, Isabeau Levito from the United States of America, Kaori Sakamoto from Japan, Cheon Kim from the Republic of Korea.
Here we go, final warm-up group.
trusting her product, trusting her programs, trusting herself this week and today, knowing that she can deliver and lay it all out there. There's some phenomenal skaters out here.
Isabeau Levito, second at Worlds last year, has returned this season. She was out for a little bit with a foot injury. She skated at Skate America, but we have not really seen her since then.
No.
Happy to see her back though.
I agree. She brings such a beautiful quality to her skating.
Talk about attention to detail.
Yes, exactly. And it's going to be so interesting to see how she's developed over. I mean, I know recovering, absolutely, but just as a person, like how you can develop with that time off and what you do with it, the type of like visualization work and how important that visualization is too, just in terms of when you don't get all the training that you like or all those competitions throughout the season that work out the kinks, it doesn't mean that you can't be successful. There's not a recipe for success.
followed by Anastasiia GUBANOVA from Georgia.
Niina PINZARRONE is the current Belgium national champion. She was 3rd at Europeans this season, 4th and 6th at her Grand Prix, and 15th at Worlds last year. She's 18 years old, skating to Swan Lake.
She got close to the wall on that one.
Lots of speed and power.
A lot of speed. As we talk about those gloves earlier today, I think that in her starting post, she does some really cool things with her hands on the back of her head, but you just don't get to see them nearly as much because of the black gloves.
Yes.
Very fast.
This is a Benoit program.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the skaters wear gloves. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Stylistic choice. Beautiful arm movement to the music on that donut.
I'll buy it.
She's another skater I think could really benefit from attention to toe point.
Mm-hmm.
She does it sometimes, but not others. So beautiful though, her extension. Great flow in her step sequence.
Wow, that was sick. It was like an illusion, but she like laid out on it and like was open. She's really just throughout the season already, and just I think, yeah, I mean this season particularly just really developed her skating strength, and like the in-betweens have been really solid.
You can really see the performance factor in her programs this season.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Oop.
Program music time, 2 minutes, 53 seconds. Skating now, Anastasiia GUBANOVA from Georgia, to be followed by Amber Glenn of the United States of America.
Anastasiia was second at Europeans this year, 8th at both of her Grand Prix, and 13th at Worlds last year. She's 22 years old. Strong triple-triple.
This version is very, very, it's very cool. It's very intriguing. I think she needs to be really 110% on with her intensity this afternoon to match the intensity of the music.
It's so interesting you said that, because I've been quiet this whole program, and I find that the music really was haunting, and I was like so into it the whole time. And there was moments where I was like, oh wow, like this is gonna be sick. She has to like go crazy.
Yeah.
Like really like Cruella de Vil vibe or something, like really dark. Because if you like commit, if you like really go there, I'm gonna get goosebumps. And
Agreed.
And if you can like also deliver technically, if you make a mistake, then I'm gonna not going to let one thing interrupt what she's going to deliver. She locks in. Just lock in. And like the use of her eye contact, like I don't want to use the word scary because it's not, I'm not scared, but I'm like, oh, I am happy there's a wall between us. Because like, if I was on that side of the ice and you're using that eye contact towards me, I would make sure I was on the other side of the ice. Because it's just like commanding. And she is like here, she is ready to play, and she means business.
I think she's the exact type of skater that benefits from the fire.
Yes.
Yet at the same time really needs to hone in on her mental focus. I know that's something she's openly talked about that she sometimes struggles with competing.
Yeah. Benefits from the fire. She's gonna walk on the coals.
Oh yeah.
She's like, I'm not scared of nothing. Very Daenerys Stormborn of her. Little Game of Thrones reference, sorry. I literally just finished it, sorry.
No, it's so good. Have you seen House of Dragon yet?
No,
That's next.
I know, it's on the added list. For her, I'd love, again, as she develops and going into the Olympic season, nothing needs to change for today, but just more effort in that toe point.
Yeah.
On those swings, even on that, like, it's clear that she wants to do a bracket, but like, let me know that you want that free leg to look great too.
Yeah, I think freedom of movement, choreographically, and just like in herself letting go and just performing at the end of her programs is something that Amber, if she can deliver, it's just like unreal.
Yeah, I agree. And here we go. There's still so much beauty to what she produces that it's hidden, like the extension, the arms, the hands, so beautiful. But if I'm picking,
sure,
which I am, I will.
I love her toe point.
Yes, yeah, okay, so like that is amazing.
Yes, very ballet of her. Lots of really great toe steps in this step sequence as well to go with the music.
Yeah.
A playfulness to the character of the program.
Flirty, fun.
It matches her light skating quality really well.
Hey. Boogie woogie.
She has beautiful spins.
Spins are like effortless, it looks like, for her. I mean, I know that there's no ounce of like effortlessness in that, but it looks great.
You can see that the technique was just really well done, with every position being elegant and pretty to look at, which is not always the case with spins these days with how difficult the variations have to be.
Very nice. She looks like she's in a good spot right now.
2 minutes, 52 seconds. Skating now, Kaori Sakamoto from Japan,
Kaori.
to be followed
Oh,
by
here we
Chen
go.
Kim
Talking
from
about a
Rinkside,
powerhouse.
Korea.
This girl can do one crossover and do 3 laps in the rink, basically. It's a little bit of an exaggeration, but she
It's
is.
about true.
She is powerful.
Yes. Kaori is the Japanese national champion. She was first at both of her Grand Prix, third at the Grand Prix final, but she's previous 3-time world champion and Olympic bronze medalist. She's 24 years old. She's looking for her 4th world title in Boston.
Sick. What?
Into double axel.
Light work. That's so crazy.
Amazing transitions in and out.
She's inspecting the roof on that back outside edge and throws a double axle off of it. That's why she can build so much effortless speed. She went the wrong way. Oh, now she's trying to figure out which way to go. That's
For
all.
a second, I thought that was like an
Choreographed?
acting part. I was like, "What's going on right now? I haven't seen this yet."
Look at this.
season.
She's like, "Where am I going?" Okay, get back into it, señorita. Sure. I mean, like, when you're trying to figure out where you are and then
Yeah.
just try to bust out a combo like that, like,
No.
probability of success might be a little lower.
It's all right. That's what practice is for.
That's it.
She does have really impressive continuous flow through
You see
this
it?
program.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Like, everything is always moving A to B to C. It's like a run-on sentence. There's no punctuation, but still gives me moments to see.
Yeah, and it matches the tempo of the music, making it all the more captivating. Very excited to see this afternoon.
Program music time.
She's so funny.
54 seconds.
What's going on over there?
I know you can't see her on camera. She's like checking her blade and probably trying to figure out where she is right now. You're in Boston, Kaori.
You've made it. The time change is probably a little intense, but it's okay.
Yeah, just a bit. Sick. I love this music so much.
Jaeon Kim is the Korean national champion and this year's 4 continents champion. She was 4th and 3rd at both of her Grand Prix, 3rd at Worlds last year. She's 18 years old, skating a Tron.
What do you think of the tights? I think they're sick. Or the, I don't know what you call that. I'm sorry if I'm not versed enough.
They're tights and like kind of
they're like
boot
pants, tights, skirt.
They're tights
You know what I mean?
that pull over the boot. I really like them on her.
I love the
think,
mesh.
Yeah, I think it looks really cool. I think the over the boot heel though kind of makes it a little bit look like practice, but I don't think that
agree.
I don't think you could tuck a black tight into the skate.
Yeah, I agree. So what do? You don't want to over the skate either. But I just love the mesh. Like, it looks so cool.
I think it looks cool too.
A digital frontier.
Also, the voiceover dialed.
Yes. This Daft Punk program is gonna be fire in the arena later.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna. too. Benoit Richaud is one of his, the choreographer for this program, so that checks out exactly why it's this different avant-garde, just the fluidity of things. You can see the influence that he's had on this program. Little Benoit.
gloves.
Yeah, I mean the staple toe hop.
Yes.
It's so interesting, like choreographers of generations, like a Pasquale Camerlengo, you knew when he did a program, you could just see it. Very similar, like a Massimo Scali, like a Benoit Richaud, a Shaylin Bourne. You see Marie-France Dubray, like you know when a choreographer's done something.
I feel like especially when I watch the men's event, I know when it's a Stefan Lambale program.
Yes, exactly. You're getting a...
And I always love it.
You're like, yeah, that's a Stefan program for sure. Well, that'll be really cool. And I would love to just see her shred on that footwork sequence, like performance-wise, facially. Because that's going to be how you keep your audience super cooked inside the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
I feel like I should be putting my rave sunglasses on for her program.
That's right. And my earplugs. Sponsored by Loop. Just kidding. That's not. Well, this is about to be a very, very exciting event. I am super thrilled to just see how these women throw down in a couple hours. I mean, this sets a trajectory for not just the long program being the following, like later this week, but also how they can get themselves set up for getting those spots for the Olympics, how they can get themselves set up. I mean, vying for a medal here can just give them momentum starting next season. I mean, the importance of this event is so crucial. It doesn't mean it's the end of the road, but it also like can really set yourself up for the following season. And I'm just so excited to see who sinks or swims.
Yeah, this season couldn't be more important for setting the tone for the next one. And I know all of these skaters are just buzzing for the Olympics because we're already less than a year out.
I know.
Which is crazy.
It's nuts.
But one step at a time, they got to finish this season first. And these women are starting off Worlds in Boston.
That's right.
They're the first event.
They got to finish 3 minutes of this practice at first. They got like, I mean, that was something that we did so well, I find. And I don't know if you can speak on this, but like how you compartmentalize your day when you're competing and not being like, oh my God, I compete later. It's like, no. We got our practice and then we gotta take our skates off and then we're gonna like debrief and then we'll go get lunch and then we'll like reset and like having to really compartmentalize each part of the day. So then that way, otherwise if you're just thinking, oh my God, I compete in 4 hours, oh my God, I compete in 3.5 hours, like that's gonna be a long time and it's gonna be exhausting.
Exactly. You have your routine. You don't need to stress yourself out earlier than you need to.
Oh gosh.
Obviously, you'll have that buzz all day, but you won't have that intense feeling until you really get to the arena for the event. And all of these skaters are more than prepped enough and experienced enough to know how to handle their nerves at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree. It's been so fun having you do this with me too. Like it's just getting your insight on things. Obviously, just chatting about what you're seeing and what I'm seeing and like hearing your stories. It's been so cool. I'm sure everyone loved it. I know I did. Who are you most excited for now after seeing this? I know that's a tough question.
oh my God. Well, obviously, I got to cheer on our U.S. women.
Charlene Guignal and Marco Fabri, representing Italy, followed by Victoria Manni and Carla Roethlisberger. Program music time, 3 minutes and 3 seconds. Skating now to their rhythm program, Victoria Manni and Carla Roethlisberger, representing Italy, followed by Katerina Mrazkova and Daniil Mrazek.